Hey, what's going on? You're now tuned in to the PVD Horror Podcast. I'm Brandon, and I'm joined by my co-host Dave. Today, we have a special episode. We're gonna do a little recap on Fantastic Fest 2025, aka Fantastic Fest 20, because it wasn't just any normal Fantastic Fest. It was a 20th anniversary, so that was big. You know what I mean? So it was a fun time. I was able to go down to Austin, Texas, and check out some films, man. So,
All
hey,
right. So tell us, yeah, you got to tell us the highlights, you got to tell us the schedule, all that good stuff.
yeah. So the festival kicked off. It started from like September 18th, and it went all the way to the 25th. It was an 8-day festival. I only went for like the first leg of it. Man, definitely next year I'm gonna try to plan on going for the whole thing because it's something special, man. This was definitely one of those festivals that like everyone needs to definitely go because we've been doing this for a few years now, you know what I mean? And every
Yeah.
time we're able to talk to directors or filmmakers or everybody, and we're just always saying, "Hey, your film was able to premiere at Fantastic Fest. Like, how was it?" And we would always get this feedback, like, "Oh man, it was like so great." And so now, I was able to, get that experience and then kind of go along the ride with everyone as they
Yeah.
premiered their films and everything. So I was able to run into a lot of people, but the first night was crazy. It started off, it was nothing crazy. It had just a couple films, but it started off at 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? And so the first film that they kicked it off with was this film called Primate. And I'm just gonna say, man, I think this is definitely one of those films that I think everybody's gonna be kind of happy with because it's gonna be starting off the year in January.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of films that kind of just start the year off the wrong way, but I think that it would be like, I think a lot of people will have fun with this. It's kind of like Cujo mixed with like with a smart ape, like you know what I mean? So it's just with that style and
I was
just
kind of envisioning like the monkey and Nope
yeah.
almost.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got like when I
Yeah.
first started watching the film. And so, going into this completely blind, like, you know what I mean? Like before the film even started, there was like this big like kickoff like party, kind of like, open bar. They had like drinks that were like named after the film and stuff. So you can go in there and kind of like
Damn.
mingle with everyone,
Hmm.
with all the press and like some of the, actors and stuff like that. So it was cool, going into it completely blind. Everybody goes into the theaters, and that's the thing. Like each screening had, like the big screenings have at least like 4 or 5 theaters playing that
Yeah.
film at the same time. So it's pretty cool, you know what I mean? So you don't know which film theater you're gonna be going into until like last minute.
How spread out is everything?
It's kind of just like a regular normal movie theater. It's nothing like crazy.
Oh,
It's
so
not
you're
that
just in
big.
like this one, was it all in Alamo?
Yeah, it's all in Alamo
Oh,
Draft
okay.
House.
Yep.
So down in Austin, Texas. Um, yeah, so you go into the theater. That was my first time actually going to an Alamo Draft House. Have you ever been
No, I
before?
still haven't been to one yet.
It's pretty cool because like, I mean, like the service itself, it's just like it's like top notch, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like even going into it, they have like these little previews that they make up and it's like no talking, like they're totally against it,
Hmm.
texting, like they'll ask you to leave. And it's cool because they have at least like, like 3 servers running throughout the theater. So it's kind of cool. Like you could hit the little button, and they come and they check on you and see if you need anything. And they have like this cool menu. And I'm just like, dude, I'm like, damn, I never even, had anything like this before because like the food, like all the options are just totally nuts. So it was just like, all right.
Did we find out that there is one around us, like in Boston, or is
Yeah,
it
it's
New
yeah,
York?
it's in
There
Boston.
is one in Boston. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
might
think
might have to check that out.
yeah, you gotta check it out. The food's crazy down there. Like so, I ordered this thing of popcorn and it was just like this big ass bowl. I was like, dude, what the fuck? But yeah, it was special because at the same time, like going back, let's go back to the mixer. I was able to kind of meet up with a few people, so I was able to meet up with Christy from In Love with Horror, and the girls from Girl That's Scary, and Sheree from Blurty Massacre. So it was cool, bumping into people that
Hmm.
kind of having a good time talking, and then we all go to the theater. So sometimes we're not going to be all grouped together with people that you know, but with this one, I was grouped in with Christy from In Love with Horror. So we were able to check that out. And like I said, like this movie, Primate, is gonna, I think it's gonna do the numbers for horror fans. I think it's not gonna be for everybody. I'm not saying it's this perfect film, but it's like the kills are there, the vibe, like
Mhm.
the style of the film. I think everybody will definitely have a good time with it. So definitely go check out Primate when it's in theaters. I think it's January 16th or something like that.
Yeah, people left the theater immediately giving it like positive praise. So
Yeah.
yeah, that like that night I saw people like doing reviews on it, like almost immediately after you texted me about it, just saying how good it was. So
Yeah, it was cool. And after the film, the creator was saying, "Oh, I hope you guys like this, and forgive me for my take on Resident Evil." You know what I mean? So it was cool. And then after the film, like when I got back home, I had messaged him on Instagram and told him he did a great job, and he was just like, "Oh, thanks, I appreciate that." Little thumbs up, shit.
yeah,
But
nice.
so we'll see. Um, and after that, we had the opening night party, which was in the high ballroom. And so, they had the music playing. It was a good night. Just just good vibes all around, you know what I mean? Seeing everybody and all the content creators and just having a good time. And that was sponsored by Shutter. So
Yeah,
Shutter was able to kick off the opening night. So it was cool, they had like little Fangoria, like picture like machines that you could take pictures with and stuff. So it was a good time. It was a good vibe, you know what I mean? So then I think I end up leaving there probably around like probably almost like 1:30 in the morning or something.
yeah,
And then so I was like, all right, got back to my Airbnb. And then I'm like, all right, because this is where it's gonna kick off. It's just gonna be a busy fucking day. Cause what was it? The first film for me on Friday was The Curse. It's I think it was a Japanese film that started around like 11 a.m. It was a decent film. It was kind of like The Ring,
mm,
but with a cell phone. You know what I mean? And then it dealt more with like social media driven
okay.
aspects. I gave that a probably around like a three. You know what I mean? So I know a lot
Oh,
of
so
people.
what did you give Primate?
I gave Primate like a three and a half,
3.5. Okay.
3.5, because it's like I said, it's nothing perfect. It's just like I think the kids and everybody will like attract to that film,
Hmm.
and I think everybody like the parents or whatever or anybody going out would be able to check it out. And I think that's the thing. I like even like you said, a lot of people who left a lot of good reviews on it, and like we all talked about it. It wasn't a like perfect film, but it was fun, you
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
So yeah, The Curse. Watched that, checked that out. After that, went to the AGFA bingo, played a little horror bingo. I won a few items in that, so I had a good time. And at the same time, just mingling, running into people. I ran into the guys from Bad Haircut,
Yeah.
so talked with them for a little bit. So it was cool.
And
I
if
think,
people don't know about Bad Haircut, make sure you check out our episode we already did with them.
yeah,
That was a fun conversation about a pretty crazy movie.
yeah.
So yeah.
It was funny. I actually ran into Frankie, the barber, so we talked with him for a little bit too. So I was telling him, like, dude, man, you killed that role. So he's just like, "Ah, I appreciate it."
He's a
And so,
legend.
yeah, yeah, he's definitely cool. He was definitely animated the whole time I was there, and I seen him. He's always doing something. He's a cool guy, you know what I
It's
mean?
just
So,
him, I think, right? That's
ah,
just he's
yeah,
just playing himself.
yeah. And then after that, I was able to just jump into like a random film because I was just like at that time just kind of like trying to put some shit together.
Yeah.
I had checked this film out called The Cramps, a period piece. It's like a next wave film. It was
I was
shot on
actually
film.
this is actually on my radar.
Oh,
So
was
it's
it?
funny that you stumbled into this. I actually saw that you rated
Hmm.
this. So I didn't know that you were planning on seeing it, but
Yeah.
yeah, tell me about it because I was this was one that I was looking forward to.
Yeah, because they had sent us like information on it to kind
Yeah.
of get the screener and
Mhm.
everything. So it was kind of cool, I mean, I went into it, checked it out. It's kind of like it's a comedy type film, horror like, horror like themes to it, dealing with I think the creator herself dealt with some health issues, and so it was her way of kind of like putting this into like a story. And making films. And so I think like after the Q&A, like I was able to like kind of like listen to her story a little bit more. And so I was like, wow, like kind of listening to that and then also watching this film, I appreciated it much more. It was a cool project. And so I definitely want to see something else, down the line from
Yeah.
her again, because like with this, it was just like it had that old style, like, what I mean, kind of like a sitcom type show style film.
Hmm.
And it looked great, watching it on film. And so I think that's the thing about Alamo Drafthouse. You're able to see some of those projects like the way that,
The way they were
they
intended to
intended
be.
to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a good project. Shout out to the whole cast and crew. Yeah, and so like you said, Dave, I know it was on your radar, but so if everybody else hasn't heard about this film, it's called The Cramps, a period piece. Definitely add it to your list and check it out when it releases. And then later on that day, it was time for Shelby Oaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shelby Oaks, like going into this whole day, it was just like so packed because it just had so much shit going on. It was like you had Shelby Oaks, went into that, and I actually didn't get into the theater that Chris Stuckman was there because I was in a different one. So when you're not in the theater with the actors and directors and everybody, it's like a live stream feed that goes across the screen at the same time. So it was cool, kind of like hearing a little bit more about the project and how like, a little bit more about it from his side of things. I was able to catch his panel at the Neon Fest when I was down over at San Diego Comic Con and
Yeah.
hearing him talk about it and showing the trailer and everything. And so I was definitely like ready to see it. So going into this film, like you just don't know what you to expect because you just think it's just gonna be like this found footage film, and then it just I can't talk about it. The film's not out yet. It comes out October 24th,
There
but
are
it
spoilers out there. Not that you're going to give a spoiler, but
yeah
unfortunately, if people really want to know,
yeah.
just go onto Letterboxd. There's people reviews that
Oh,
have
they
spoilers in it,
ruined it already.
unfortunately.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think they've done a few early releases after Fantastic
Yeah.
Fest. I think it was like this past week they did a few. But
I just
yeah.
I just have to say this because I can't remember what interview we were doing recently,
Mm,
but somebody made a comment about like hoping we can enjoy a film and not just like watch it at like one of these festivals and immediately hop onto Letterbox to write our reviews.
yeah.
And like they would say like they like when people can like sit and like think about a film and not just hop on the review systems. And I was started to do that after like watching
Hmm.
Letterbox after you would tell me that you just left like one of the premieres. I
Yeah.
started to hop on after to see how quickly those reviews built up, and literally people get up from their seats, must step aside for a second, and write a review immediately after they leave the theater.
Most times, even if you go to the theaters a lot of people just kind of like sit in their seat during the credits and
And
then
write,
write their reviews.
yeah,
And so like that's the thing. I know, and like for me, I could have ran and written so many reviews and talked about the films. I like to kind of like sit with it for a while because
yeah,
it's like things change.
yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
that's exactly what I think too. I think there is something to the initial reaction, but like mulling something over, allowing it to like kind of like
Yeah.
fester in you a little bit before you know, decide. Because like there's times where I think a movie's like a three, and then like
Yeah.
after I give it a day or two, I'm like, you know what? That's I haven't stopped thinking about that. That's like
Hmm.
for me, that's an extra half a point or something like that. So,
It's
you
it's
know,
hard. It's hard
depends.
because that's the thing. Like especially with that experience, like you know what I mean? Seeing it first and just having that whole hype, I think that is just kind of going through you. I think that you might go into it and you're just like, all right, you write this shit down like you just said, like, hey,
Yeah,
I gave it this score, but at the same time, like sometimes I can go into it and just kind of give it a high score and I'm like, damn, wait a minute, I think that was too high.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Because I
Yep.
think I gave that experience most of the credit. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Being able to see it first. I think also we did that
Halloween
before
2018.
Halloween 2018. We said
Yeah.
it. Like the girl and her family, the main
Yeah.
character, she's sitting behind us with her family. Like you're taking all that in, like hype, you're
Yeah.
seeing it first. Like you can't. Like, you know what I mean? And so that's why I kind of like chill out with that. And that's why I wasn't like rushing this shit because I could have just been like, oh man, like just on that. that adrenaline run, like where it's just like, fuck, man. Like I'm just like so fucking happy that I seen something first, and nah, like, and that was the same thing. I seen Strangers too, and I was like, all right, cool. And then I seen it again. I took my daughter when it came out, and it was just like, like, wait a minute. So I'll get
Yeah,
to that point after. But yeah, Shelby Oaks is definitely a great film. I know they changed the date on that. It was supposed to come out
they did.
October 4th, and then it got moved to the
Yep.
24th. So
Yep. I actually, yeah, made a post about it recently and had to correct myself because I had the
yeah,
wrong date.
yep,
Yeah. I am excited about it. Liking found footage. I know there's a little bit of a twist that I don't know what the twist is. That might,
yeah.
some people it was liked it, some people didn't.
Hmm.
But I'm definitely excited for it.
Yeah, I think overall, I think, and it's just like one of those films again. I think it's good for an October release to go check it on theaters. Um, and shout out to Chris Stuckman. I think we're gonna have him on the show. We just had Patrick Lawrence, the editor of the film, on the show. And that's the thing. It's like, seeing reviewers just like us. He was a content creator just like us, making reviews and stuff. And he had the opportunity to make his own film. And it was
Yeah.
cool because he pitched the idea of Shelby Oaks to a director at Fantastic Fest. You know what I
So it
mean?
came full circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Uh, so I think that was cool. You know what I mean? That opportunity happened. And so definitely check out Shelby Oaks. And then later on that night, I was able to check out Night Patrol. It's a big film with Justin Long. You got some wrestlers in there. You got CM Punk. Uh, we got YG if you're into rap.
Yeah. That one shocked me when I saw his name. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
hell? YG is an actor?
yeah, Flying Lotus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so many more other people. It
I
was just a wild,
I,
a
I
wild ride.
we had gotten an email that morning about
Hmm.
it, with like the final trailer or something like that, or
Yeah.
something that I was making a post about it, and I'm like, holy shit, this cast is insane. So I remember I
Mm.
texted her, you're like, you seeing Night Patrol? You're like, I'm seeing it tonight,
Yeah.
and then you saw some of them too in person, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool because they were all lined up in the hallway. And then so I bumped into Flying Lotus and then so I had tapped him. I said, "Hey man, I'm a big fan of your work." And he was just like, "Oh man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it." And I was like, "Nah, keep killing it because I'm a big fan of the music and I'm a big
Hmm.
fan of your films."
Yep.
And so, I mean, I think those pieces of every, being able to run into like the actors and directors and kind of like talk with them and stuff like that. And it was cool because it wasn't like because you had messaged me. I told you. I was like, yeah, I'm like, this isn't like a convention vibe thing. Like, you got to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like act like you belong. So
All
you can't
right.
be like, oh, let me get a picture. You give me a picture. I'm just like, nah, you just got to keep saying what's up and keep it moving. And it
Yeah,
was like the same thing. Like, I had seen Fred Durst. He was walking around. I was walking by him and I was like, hey, what's up, man? He goes, oh, what's up? Like, you know what I mean? And you keep it moving. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And I also seen Justin Long, and so I was gonna go up to him and be like, "Hey, are you Brandon St. Randy from uh Zach and Mary Make a Porno?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like at the same time, like you have people, certain people running up on them, but it was just like you just gotta, play a position and shit like that, and everything kind of falls in line. But it was cool. I was able to check out Night Patrol. That's also
Who
gonna be on Shutter.
it's escaping me. The director of Night Patrol did what else?
Shit.
There was another, right? Didn't he have another film he had done previously that was?
Yeah, I can't remember it right now.
I'll look it up really quick. Because
Yeah,
I remember when I saw that too, I was like, Ryan Prowse was the
yeah.
director, and he previously did. Of course, it's going to take me a minute to find it. Oh well, he was in VHS 94. He had a
Okay.
segment,
Yeah.
and that might have been it actually. Yeah,
No, okay.
that might have been what I was thinking of. But anyways, yeah, no, that was cool.
Yeah.
It was like a vampire movie, right?
Yeah, it's a vampire
Police.
movie, so it's like, what we have going on in the world with the police brutality and everything like that. Those cops are like vampires, so you have, CM Punk, he's one of the head vampires from the police patrol. And you have Justin Long, he's a rookie cop. trying to get his feet wet into the force. And it's cool, you know, I mean, the whole situation is like between like Bloods and Crips. So YG, Flying Lotus, oh, Freddie Gibbs is
Oh
also in
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Freddie
that's right.
Gibbs is, you know, there in the Bloods. And so the main character in this film is a Crip, you know what I mean? He has his own family and shit. And so there's things that's kind of like going on. And so, you know, you have the night patrol, shady cops and shit like that. So it's definitely a cool movie to check out. I think that people will enjoy it. And I think that's coming out in January also on Shudder. So yeah, we were just given so like Shudder, man, it was just like a cool experience. You know, I was able to kind of go back after that film, go back to the high ballroom, chill, you know what I mean? Kind of like talk with a few people, talk what they thought about the films. Like, you know, like you were saying, people kind of like you could see people
Yeah.
writing reviews. They would run outside, kind of make their videos and stuff and you put them out there. But yeah, it was cool. I was just like soaking it all in, just having a good time. And then we had VHS Halloween. Wow. I have to say, man, this is probably like one of the best VHSs in a long time.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, you can definitely watch it now, which it had released this past Friday on the 3rd.
And from what I've seen, I think almost everybody has because I
Yeah.
have seen everybody post about
Hmm.
this recently. With that, like it's got one of the coolest like still screens. Is
Yep.
that what you would call it? Like, you know, like
Hmm.
the picture showing it. So everyone's saying now watching and they take a
Yeah.
picture of their TV with that. So definitely is getting a lot of views, which is awesome. I
Mm.
haven't watched it yet. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I cannot wait to get to that. So
Yeah, they had sent the screener over, so we'll have a VHS Halloween episode
mhm.
coming up. But yeah, it was just so cool. I think Shutter put so much love into this event. You know, I was able to get this little tote bag, like VHS Halloween. And as you made your way down to the theater, they had, you know, people dressed up as ghosts and you could go trick or treating. You know what I mean? And so it was cool. So I was able to get some candy in the bag, made my way to the theater. So like this film kicked off probably around like 11 p.m. So we didn't get out of there till like probably like 1:30. So like I said, like this is probably like one of the best VHSs because in a long time because where you have like every segment hits. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think that we usually don't get that. So with this one I think a lot of fans would probably be like really happy, you know what I mean, to appreciate VHS because we've
Yeah, it's
been
been a
VHS
while.
fans for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while since there's been one that's every single
Mm,
segment was like you didn't you wanted it to watch it through. You weren't like just waiting for the next one. So
yeah.
that's good.
I think the last time we got that was from like the first or the second one. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it. Like, you know what
100%.
I mean?
Hmm.
So, yeah, like, so that ended my Friday night. So, to kick Saturday off, like I said, again, I had ran in, I had just watched this random movie. It was called Forbidden City. It's not a horror film. It's more of a like martial arts type style film, you know. So it was cool, you know what I mean? Because like that was the thing. It wasn't just horror films going on here. It was just everything. Everything was going on for all types of films. So I was really happy that I was able to at least check this film out because it was I like martial arts films and a story about love and everything like that and the visuals of everything that was shot, it was just like really great.
Hmm.
Um, so if you're into that types of those types of films, definitely check out Forbidden City when that releases. I don't know when their release date's going to be for that.
Would you say it was comparable to like Rumble in the Bronx? A little
Uh,
Jackie Chan action? No.
the style of it, I wouldn't say that. I would say that the fighting aspects of the film, I would
Yeah.
compare that to like Raid
Oh,
because
Raid.
this lady was like
Yeah.
kicking ass.
Nice.
Well, in some Rumble in the Jungle, but like you know, this lady like she was kicking ass.
Yeah.
Um, then after that, you know, I mean, I was able to just kind of go to this Strangers VIP press mixer, uh, open bar. It it was a cool event. It was like really special because like all content creators were able to kind of just, you know, just get that chance, the opportunity to talk. And like I was there with a girl that's scary, um, Blurdy Massacre, and In Love with Horror. and a few other content creators and filmmakers, such as Brandon Espy from Mr. Crockett. And so, just talking with everybody, having a good time, and then they were giving away free strangers tattoos. So I was able to get a tattoo of the smiley face. Have you seen Strangers 2 yet?
No, no.
No, okay. Yeah, so the tattoo plays a big role in the sequel, well, chapter two. So I was able to get one. I got one like on my leg. So I was like, all right, might as well. It was a cool
Now
experience.
you will forever remember Strangers Chapter 2.
Yeah. So it was funny because, like I said, like we were all just getting tattoos and shit. And so at that time, I was just in line and then kind of heard this guy over talk and I was just like, wait a minute, I think I know this guy. I'm like, hey, you seem familiar. I'm like, and I heard you say something about Night Swim. I'm like, he goes, yeah, I created that film. So I was like able to talk with this guy. His name's Bryce McGuire. And so we were kind of talking and like I said to him, I said, hey, can I just ask you a few questions about that film? You know what I mean? He's like, yeah. And I was just like, I'm like, were you able to do what you truly wanted to do with this film? He was just like, no. And then so I was like, and I totally understand that because being on this side of things and talking with directors and writers and film creators about films and then like just things just don't go the way that they're always supposed
Right,
to.
right.
And so I'm like, and that sucks because everyone's not gonna know that. And he goes, yeah, that was my feature film, and it sucks because it's like now that's what I'm known for and stuff like that. And I'm just like, yeah, man. I'm like, don't fucking stress it. I know you probably have something else up your sleeve. And he's like, I actually do. I have a lot of other projects coming up. I can't
Good.
talk about it. And he goes, but there's this fucking movie Dolly that is playing tomorrow. I'm like, oh, yes, that's on my radar, and I'm definitely gonna check that out. And he was like, yeah, he goes, that's gonna be up your lane, and if you're gonna appreciate that. And I was just like, all right, cool. Well, I'll let you know after I watch it. And then so after that, we got our tattoos and shit, and then we were able to kind of click over. They had everybody in the fucking bar dressed up as, I guess, strangers and stuff. So
Yeah,
seeing the
yeah,
rails and everything like that,
yeah.
they had everybody dressed up. So they were all like in your space and everything. I'm just like, back up. And then so he was able to just go back, walk across the street, go back to the theater. And then like you get there at the premiere for the strangers, they had everybody lined up and shit, dressed up as the strangers and you make your way in. And then this time I was able actually to get into a theater that had the cast and crew and the creators. So I was right there in the front row. They gave their speech of the films, and after that they played the film. And so going into it, like I really enjoyed it because I talked with Clep because he had seen it before also. And I had always said this, that this film is going to be the make it or break it for this project because I'm like, all right, for the first film, I don't want to count that. I don't want to count it because they were playing too close to the original. So now they're going to have to do their own style. And so now opening the door to this, it gives it its own style and then it has its certain points and then it has its points where it just doesn't go anywhere or whatever like that. It has
Yeah.
its problems just like
Yeah.
any film, but it is a step better than the first chapter.
Okay.
And so now we're in that leverage, we're in that position of like, okay, what's next? Because now we're waiting for that third chapter because they're like, all right, this is what the third chapter is just gonna be even much darker and everything like that. Because right now you're just at that middle story of the cliffhanger. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of the film, and so it was kind of cool after they were talking about the film, saying like, hey, after this is all done, there's going to be a release where it's just all packaged together as one film, like because you can just play it, but you can't release a film in the theaters that's going to be 4 or 5 hours
Right.
long. You know what I mean? So I think that's the piece all the time where it's like if you were to watch half of a movie all the time, like you couldn't really give a good grade on the full project. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Sure.
So we're in that position again where it's like, okay, we need to see like the ending of everything. So they were saying that that one will come much sooner, but they said this about this chapter too.
Sure. Sure.
So I'm not sure how Lionsgate and everybody will release it, But, you know,
There
we'll
was an
see.
article saying that because of, the response to this one,
Hmm.
the third one's kind of, in doubt as far as like what they're going to do with it. So,
Well, it's already done. I think most of them
yeah,
are already done. They filmed them all together because that's the whole point. When they were filming, like the first one, they would film it in the daytime. The second one was at night, and the third one was at night. So they would kind of like switch off, and they would all
yeah.
like make them at the same time. So,
I know this one did really poorly at the box office the first weekend to the point
mm,
where, that was I think something that they were kind of mulling over, like what how do they bounce back from that? Because I don't think anybody was really expecting that. I think everybody was kind of like, well, no matter what, people are going to go, but
mm,
people are not going to go, I guess.
yeah, I don't know. You know, what I mean, I think that most people probably were like, oh, fuck it. But
The
uh,
chase, it's they. I heard there was another chase scene in this one.
the whole movie is like a chase scene. You know what I mean?
See, that's the thing. Like that was my issue with the first one. Like I was
Mm,
actually fine for most of the film, but that disorienting woods chase scene where it's like you don't even know where you are in the woods at some point,
yeah,
and it feels like the woods go on forever, and it's
yeah.
like there's no, yeah, you have no like wherewithal of like where things are in
Mm,
comparison to each other. Like the strangers could be right behind you, or they could be like miles away from you, and you have no idea because of the
yeah.
way they're shooting everything. And I asked Klepp that same question. I was like, "Is there more chase scenes?" He's like, "There's more chase scenes."
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not perfect. It's not perfect, but you know, it is what it is. You know.
I think the thing that people don't seem to get with The Strangers is, to me, the scariest stuff about that film is the stuff that happens in the house. Like
Yeah.
I do find the stuff outside scary, like in the original when she goes out to the barn and they're like get her, or they go to the car for those brief scenes, like that stuff's pretty tense. But when they're in the house, I find
Hmm.
that stuff to be the most terrifying because it's really hard to hide in a house.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will kind of hate on this film a lot too once it's seen more. You know what I mean? Because they made a decision to kind of like have a different take on it. You know what I mean? And kind
Oh, okay.
of
Yeah,
yeah, and I think that, we've seen a lot of other movies kind of go into it with this kind of style and they get upset saying, why would you do this to this character? Why
sure.
would you do that? Why would you do that? So not at the same time,
Is
I
this
don't
an
want to ruin it for
origin?
you.
Is this an origin film?
It the second one kicks back into it like that. Yeah.
Okay. Someone said that in a post, and I was like, see, I don't even know if people know what this is supposed to be.
It's not it's no, actually it's not, but it has flashbacks.
Okay.
So it takes you back and forth. Like,
I
you know
mean,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
If people really want an origin story for the strangers, just watch the little fan films. Those things are great.
yeah. So I don't know. Honestly, to be honest with you, I think that the two creators, Rennie and the writer, I don't know how they are. Like, I mean, because it just seems like awkward, and I
Mm.
think that they just both probably want to just get off this ride
Oh,
together.
I can only imagine that they
You
just want
know,
this to be done with at
they
this
want it to be
point.
done. Because even after the movie, the Q&A, like there's a scene in the film that like a lot of people are just gonna shit on, and so they had said to him like, "Was that always supposed to be in there?" And he was just like, "Yes, it was," like with an
Oh, geez.
attitude,
Yeah, yeah.
like yes, it was always supposed to be in there. And then they were kind of like asking us like, "What'd you guys think about it? Did you like it?" And then everybody's kind of like, "Yeah." Hit
Oh
him with the
boy.
fake yeahs and shit. So it was just like, I don't know, man. So it was just like, okay, and they felt kind of like a little happy. But
Mm.
I mean, nobody's gonna say no. We didn't want that
Yeah,
at a
no, when they're right in
premiere.
front of them.
You know what I mean?
People have a lot of like get people get real brave when they're behind a keyboard, not when they're
Oh
face
no,
to
yeah.
face with people.
Oh yeah. They're not
So
gonna be
like,
like, yeah, no. I just didn't say anything. I was
yeah,
just recording.
exactly.
I was just recording, just waiting. Ah, shit. But yeah, then
Every one of those people left the theater and immediately got on and started talking shit.
oh shit about it.
Yeah,
Cause I remember because Clep had a video up talking about the video. They were doing a spoiler
yeah.
review, and I went into it with a meme, and then he started like busting out laughing. I was like, yeah, fuck. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck
See,
that was about.
Klepto, he'll say some uncomfortable things sometimes. I give him
Mm,
credit. Like he actually will say some things that like he was thinking about it. So,
yeah,
but we'll, yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I got to check it out still. I just honestly this one, the first one, I think I went opening weekend
Hmm.
and I just had zero motivation to get to this one. I actually was like thinking about it the other day and was like, there's other stuff I could do.
Yeah, but I think overall, like, still, you still need to go out and check them out, though, no matter
Oh yeah,
what.
yeah. No, actually, I chose Good Dog over it, Good Boy over it, and I was kind of glad I did because
Oh, you went to the
we'll
theater
talk.
and seen that?
No, I we had the thing for it, so
Oh, I thought you
yeah,
said you
yeah.
went to the theater and doing.
I stayed home and watched it
Uh,
instead.
yeah. Then there was another film, but I didn't attend it. But it was Don't Leave the Kids Alone.
Hmm.
That is kind of like on the style of Skidamarink. So I was cashed in because I was like jet lagged and everything, and already going to sleep late the night before. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna skip this. I'm just gonna hit the road. So I was like, because I gotta be up early to sit there and get everything going. So I skipped that, and I went home, got some sleep, woke up, got back to the theater probably around like 11 a.m. and there wasn't really much going on. So I kind of like jumped into this, you know, this random film. It was like Cinema Recompose Year One, the work of Max. And it was cool. I went in there, and it wasn't just like any like a film. It was just like an orchestra playing like to the films that they had, like the short little pieces they had going on. And so it was cool, you know what I mean, to see something like that. And I guess that was their first year doing this.
Hmm.
And so, you know, after each clip was done, the composers that did each set kind of stood up and kind of did like a Q&A and talked about their set pieces. So I think that was cool, you know what I mean? Like you don't think about it like how like the music in the background is like made to just, you know, help the film, you know, as you're watching for your viewing experience. So just seeing that live was something special. But we've seen
Yep,
stuff like that, like we're going to see John
yep.
Carpenter, but we've seen uh
Goblin. Yep.
Goblin and stuff like that. And then it's always special when you see it live, you know? So it's just like, all right. So it was a cool little escape for a little bit, you know? And there was a movie called Crazy Old Lady. I had missed it because I was sitting there in something else. And then so at that point in time, the seats had filled up. So I was like, ah, shit. But I heard good things about that. So definitely check it out. Then I was able to go down and check out Dolly. So this is a crazy fucking project. So if you're a fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that, this would definitely be up your alley. I had entered the theater. It was kind of like it was packed a little bit. I'm like, all right, let me try to get a seat. So I was just asked this guy, I said, hey, somebody sitting here? And he was like, no. So it just starts talking with like talking about films and stuff. And he's like, hey, if I get like cookies, would you have one? I'm like, sure, I guess I'll get one.
That's
I'm
my
like,
kind of dude right there.
yeah, I guess so. I'll take one. I'm not gonna say no to a cookie. And I'm like, if I get popcorn, you want some? He goes, oh, I'm trying to stay away from popcorn. I'm like, all right, cool. So we'll start talking about like horror films and stuff like that, and going back and forth. And then so I was like, oh, so he was like, oh, who are you down here with? And I'm just like, oh, I'm down here for PVD Horror, you know, company. And then so he's like, oh, cool. And he like followed us on social media. And then so he was like, oh, my girlfriend's in Black Phone. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, that's cool. So his girlfriend plays the kid's mom in the film. And so what was it? Yeah, so she's in that, and she's also, you seen the fuck is it? Final Destination, right?
Yeah.
So she plays the girl that was in the fucking trash truck, the garbage truck.
She gets hit with the soccer ball and then
Yeah,
goes into the
that's
truck.
her. So it was cool. So we was able to have that time we talked, and then so like watched the film, and then we kind of like talked after, and was just like, dude, this fucking movie was nuts. And
Yeah.
so like I said, it would Dolly is kind of like I said, like Leatherface, but this female character that just has this like doll like mask on. You could tell like she's autistic. She does, she has uh all the ticks and everything like that,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
like kind of has it and like rocks and then stems a lot. And so I
yeah.
was just like, that's cool, because like I think that that Dave would also like this film because this touches on like kids that we work with, and so it was like really special to watch. Like we've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but you don't really get that side of Leatherface. But like with Dolly, you get it a lot. And so, Sean Patrick Harris, he's in here from Stifler, from
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's
That's
in
right.
this film. So yeah, definitely check out Dolly. I don't want to give away too much, but after the screening, I was sitting there, like I said, see you later. I had gone outside and I seen Bryce, and I was like, dude, you fucking did it. And he was like, ah, man, I told you. And I was like, oh, you guys redeemed yourself from Night Swim. I'm like, you guys definitely did it. And I think this is one of the bigger films that a lot of people have been talking about
Mm.
at the festival because they definitely knocked it out of the park with this film. Um, when it ends, it already lets you already know they're gonna have a sequel. It's like a song that's singing during the credits and stuff. And so, I was able to tell them like, hey, like this film fucking is sick. You know what I mean? And
Even
then
the mask and everything, like I
yeah,
saw it would they had it there, right? There was like a
yeah, they had
statue
the
of it,
yep,
and that is just so cool looking. So
yeah,
definitely kind of makes you excited for it.
yeah. Then Dolly was played by a actual like a wrestler because I was able to see the Q&A, but I was in the like I had it on the live screen because I wasn't in the same theater, but the
Mm.
wrestler was also um had a family that had a lot of people out on the spectrum. So he was just like, yeah, I got a lot of my body movements and everything because I have a lot of cousins that STEM and do everything like that. So I was able to incorporate that into this character, and
Oh,
I was
that's
like, oh, that's
interesting.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, and then I looked at my phone and then I didn't realize it 'cause I was like, oh, let me see like what's going on with this activity. And then so I'm looking, I'm like, wait a minute, like, who the fuck is it? I'm like, oh, it's the guy that just followed me that I sat down in the theater and had cookies. It was fucking Ryan Nemeth. So I'm a wrestling fan, but I don't watch TNA a lot. And so I didn't realize that I'm like, this is Ryan Nemeth, and I'm looking at the page, I'm like, oh shit, this is Dolph Ziggler's brother. So Dolph Ziggler was like a big wrestler in
Oh yeah.
WWE. So now he's in TNA. And so it's just been like this little great little like meetup thing, like a little mixer because like me and Ryan, we were able to talk, like we message each other and shit like that. Just did an episode with him. He's on the podcast, and so I'm actually going to be able to go down to TNA to Bound for Glory. That's their WrestleMania. So he hooked it up with some tickets, but I just think overall, man, like that's the thing. Like the experiences that you get from Fantastic Fest are like no other because it's just like so much fun. And then so you never know who you're gonna meet.
Yeah, that's wild. He seems like a super nice dude just from even like seeing because like obviously I can see the exchanges we have on our Instagram. We can both
Hmm.
see him. So, but like just seeing his messages, he just seems like a very like nice guy.
Yeah.
And now to hear that the way that you met him was he offered you cookies, that he sounds like literally the best person.
Yeah, dude, and it was like crazy because that's why I was sitting there. I was like telling them because I'm like, oh, when you offered me a cookie, I'm like, I thought you were gonna offer me like I thought they just had like these fucking random ass fucking cookies at Alamo Draft House. I'm like, dude, those shits were like they just came out of the oven.
Yeah,
That's how they sell the cookies. I'm like, yo,
really.
this that. I'm like, this shit. I'm like, that was a
He
fucking good
oh,
ass
so he
cookie.
knew. He
Yeah,
knew.
he because he's been before.
Yeah, yeah, he knew
He's
those cookies.
yeah, he knew the cookies. So I'm like, shit. I'm like, these cookies are crazy, bro. I'm like, these came out the fucking oven. Like they're freshly baked.
I bet they're better than crumble.
Oh
Those
yeah.
shits are too sweet.
Crumbles all right. Depends on which kind you get.
Yeah.
But sitting there going through this, I'm like, shit, I fucked up because
You
in this I seen I think fucking what was it? I seen Black Phone
I
2
was just
after
gonna
I
say you
seen Strangers.
oh yeah, I was gonna say you skipped one.
Yeah, I didn't see it on the list. But yeah, I had seen Black Phone 2 after I had seen Strangers 2. And so going into that film, it was cool. The writers and directors and everybody were there. I was in another theater, so I wasn't able to, get the whole footage of everybody in there talking. But going in this film, it was definitely one of my films that I had high hopes for. And I think a lot of people love it, but I was such a big fan of the first one that, kind of going into this one, it was like, all right, you're watching these films and stuff, and I'm just like, all right. I watched it and I was just kind of left with like, okay, but then I hear like you were saying before how everybody would kind of run across the street with the reviews. I would kind of listen to them and shit, and then everybody was just saying like how this film was so much better than the first one
Really?
and how it is doing so many different things and it's like and then I don't know. Like everybody has their own opinions, but
Right.
that's the whole point. I'm not gonna run out and just talk on that.
But you really liked
The first one.
the first one, so it makes sense that like some change that you're not always going to want it to go in
Mm.
a different direction or see that. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's just not what you wanted to see from it.
And so that was the thing too. It was just like after waiting a few days, just like myself, I've heard other people's reviews and they agree with me. You know what I mean? That they didn't think that this project was needed or the way that they did it was needed or whatever, and that it didn't do the first film justice. And it's it's crazy, but it's an okay film. I think that overall, like it starts off really slow because it does a lot of character building. And like at this point in time, the kids were in middle school in the first one, and this one they're in high school. And so you just have so many changes going on between everybody, between the whole full
Mhm.
cast, the kids, the father, and everybody else like that. So I think overall that was cool, but I just felt that it didn't need to take the route of Nightmare on Elm Street. It seemed like Dream Warrior. And I get it that people will love that. And I had talked with a few other reviewers outside after. I was like, dude, I didn't, they was just like, because we were talking.
Mhm.
And so people came over, they were like, well, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? And they was like, this guy doesn't like it. I'm like, dude, I'm like, he goes, he didn't like, I'm like, I just didn't like the whole Freddy style.
Yeah,
And they was just
yeah.
like, yeah, but nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing the Freddy thing. I'm like,
Well,
yeah,
why does someone
nobody
have to
needs to.
it's already been done.
Yeah, like I'm like the
Yeah,
grabber is supposed to be his own icon now. So
right.
why are you taking everybody else's shit?
And I can kind of see maybe like why they went that direction based on the first one. Like I can see the kids maybe coming up with their own like super alter egos or whatever
Yeah.
to combat. I can see it, but like it has, like you said, it has been done already. I don't know that
Hmm.
you need to do that. And honestly, like Blumhouse needs to focus on making their own unique winners in order to really
Yeah.
stand out. So I
And I
don't
feel
know.
like they did that with the first film, but
Yeah, yeah.
it was just like I get it, but then like how do you do this with the second one without, and I think that was the whole
Well,
point.
the other thing is though, does that taking that route? So like obviously we're a certain generation,
Hmm.
but there's another whole other generation that's never really seen Dream Warriors
No,
or
yeah.
like doesn't resonate with them the same way. So for them, that this might be the best. And we're like, no, we've already seen it. So
No, yeah, and
it'll
that's
be
the thing
interesting to
too.
see.
But that was also cool too because Robert Englund had just done an interview with Bloody Disgusting, and he was talking about that, saying how like yeah, if they want to do a remake for Nightmare on Elm Street, that they should just start at the Dream Warriors because we've already seen the first one being remade, and the second one really doesn't need to kind of be touched, and then you just
Mhm.
kind of go into part three and just kind of remake it from there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I just think that overall, like I said, like if somebody was just to create something and be like, oh, well, we're taking this whole style and then doing it. No one would be happy. Like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's just like, but I feel as though that it's just kind of being like left okay because it's the grabber, but it's not. So there's a lot of mixed reviews on that. I gave it a 3.5, I think. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. And so I don't know. We'll
Three
see.
and a half still pretty good. So
No, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it has its pieces where it's like the character build up. It does a great job with with the kids, and the family and everything else. So, but we'll see. I have to watch it again. So
yeah.
we'll see when it releases.
And
But
I'm honestly interested to see what like the general consensus is about it. Like
yeah,
I'm interested to see if it's a film that is like really mixed or if people tend to like kind of lean one way. It'll be interesting.
yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of mixed reviews because you're going to have a lot of people like myself that like the first one a lot and feel
Mhm.
as though this one doesn't do it justice, or you're going to have everybody just fucking loves it and says it's the fucking best thing since sliced bread because I think that was a thing. A lot of reviewers are kind of running into it and saying that they really enjoyed it, and I'm just like, okay, well, that's you. Like, I
Yeah,
get
to
it, and
each
I
their own.
understand it's like everybody has their own like things on it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, then after that, to go back to the night of Dolly, you know what I mean? Because I had skipped around, but I was able to check out Deathgasm, and so that was a special project because we've always been big fans of the first one, and so being a part of the Kickstarter, getting everything lined up for the second one, so that was pretty cool, to kind of be in attendance and everything like that when they were like, "Oh, how many people were in for, support the Kickstarter?" So there was a lot of people in the theater that kind of like was there, that was a part of it. So it was cool, to sit there and see their names on the screen at the end. It was
Did
something
they
special.
did they bring up the video game or like any of the other stuff they got going on? Because they have so many different side projects too.
No, they didn't really talk about it. They just kind
Yeah.
of like stayed on track of the film, but it was cool because, like I said, another wrestling star, WWX star Braun Strowman, he plays a part in the film, and so he plays a good role. Like everybody get some good laughs out of that.
Hmm.
So he was there, so it was cool, what I mean, and just hearing their sides of everything of just putting this whole thing together, what I mean, and for the love, passion of like the true fans and everybody that support it. He was saying something about like, oh man, I remember the first week the Kickstarter started and I only had like 8 people, what I mean, that contribute to it. And then it was just like off the wall at the end. So it was just like it was cool, so it was a good night. So with
It's
that
crazy
film.
those people those guys in it like if watching the trailer now everybody's
Mm,
so much older than
yeah.
when it was first made.
Mm.
So yeah, it looks like it'll be a wild ride.
Yeah, the jokes hit. Like, what I mean? I think that's like one of the films. I think that, when you do a sequel to something, I think that everybody wants to everyone wants to have it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like, just the fans and then the creators and not just making it just because it's a money grab, but just making it because it's a project that you always had love for. And so I think that at the end of the day, that's what this project came down to. And I think that everyone is going to be happy once this film is released on a bigger platform.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, then to end the night, we had a secret film, so it was the first secret film of the fest that started that night. So there was a lot of rumors of what it could be. For a long time, it was supposed to be the film that Leonardo DiCaprio had
Hmm.
released. That didn't, it wasn't that. They ended up doing that for the second screening film, secret film. But I had the opportunity to check out Silent Night, Deadly Night, remake. And I feel as though a lot of people will be happy with that. I think it surprised a lot of people because, I think a lot of people are going to go into it and think that, this is just going to be trash. But I think overall, they put a little bit more in the story behind it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I think that people will kind of, deal with it. And I think a lot of people will kind of, it's a lot of films that people were kind of throwing out there was like Venom. You know what I mean? And so it gave Venom and Dexter vibes. So
When you say Venom, meaning
I
like he has a
was just gonna
he
leave it there.
talks
I was just gonna leave it there. I was
the
just
trailer looks great. I was impressed with the trailer. I am like I'm probably gonna have to like taper my expectations for this because I feel like if I don't, they're gonna get too high and maybe I'll be disappointed. But I feel like if I have the medium,
Yeah,
I'll
keep
probably
it.
be fine.
Yeah, keep it on a medium. I think that you'll. I think overall, everybody in the theaters, that everybody enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I think overall it was just one of those films because it takes it away from, the originals and stuff like that. We're not gonna get the same films from one, two. You know what I mean?
You know,
So
I just met Robert Brian Wilson
yeah.
from the original, and then I met Eric Freeman from part two. And
Hmm.
I was talking to them about the films, and I totally forgot to ask either of them what their thoughts were about this remake. It
Yeah.
just didn't dawn on me to ask them. I
Well, I'm
wish
sure
I
they
had.
probably seen it already.
Yeah.
So,
Or at
yeah.
least Robert Brian Wilson. He seems like he would have. Eric
Mm,
Freeman seems like probably less like he would have. He was like Mark Soper-ish, where he was like
okay.
he didn't realize he had a following and stuff like that until he started to do these things, he said. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, and I'm glad the actor from Halloween Ends, I'm glad to see him
Yeah.
in something else. How was his performance?
He does a good job. I think he does a good
Yeah.
job in this. And so, yeah, a lot of twist and I think that people will enjoy it. I mean, I think that fans of the original, they're gonna be happy in somewhat way, you know.
Okay.
So, have you seen Toxic Avenger yet or no?
No, it's
Okay.
hitting where is it hitting Screenbox? Did
Nah,
it hit a Screenbox yet?
not yet.
There's a release date, I think, so I was waiting for that.
No.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so yeah, I think that overall, I think fans will be happy. You know what I mean? And that was the recap of my time at Fantastic Fest because that was my last film, and I end up flying out. So I was
I
able to.
it was crazy because like you came home and I was like, oh, that I didn't realize the fest was like still going on
Oh, it's still
days
going on.
after. I was like,
Yeah,
wow, that is long.
yeah. That's what I said. It's like 8-day festival, so I was able to kind of check in on everybody's feeds and see what was going on and check out some of the secret movies that played. And so I knew going into it that like the last film of the festival night was Whistle, and that's going to be Shudder's big film. So I can't wait to check that out. But it was funny. So it was like even after, like I just did the interview with Ryan the other day, and he was like, "Oh man, did you get COVID?" I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Oh yeah, a lot of people got COVID there." And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like thank God we got out at the same time then, because I was like, I don't need that shit again.
Jesus.
Yeah. So yep.
Wonderful. You know, the thing that will make things hard for you now is I remember hearing years ago when people would do like their year-end lists.
Mm,
They'd have to like take out the films that they saw at festivals sometimes because sometimes you'll see a film at a festival that isn't going to be released in that year.
yeah.
So that can sometimes screw you up when you're trying to make your top tens to realize
Hmm.
like what was actually accessible to a wider audience and what was just a festival premiere.
Yeah, like Primate
Yeah,
and
exactly.
stuff. So yeah, I think yeah, it's definitely gonna be. It won't be that hard, but I think overall in general, like I said, I was able to kind of check off something that was on my bucket list because, like I said, we always talked with the film creators about their experiences there, and so
Mhm.
now, like, wow, like I think that's probably like one of the best experiences that I had because I think all the time just going to the movies in general is just my way of escaping what's going on in the world at times. And so it just felt like, wow, I'm able to sit there and go to the movies multiple times a day. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Watch the
yeah.
films. So it was cool. So,
Yeah. It's quite the experience.
like I said, next year I'm gonna try to do the whole thing. So
Yeah, that's a
shout out,
lot of viewing time.
yeah, so shout out to Fantastic Fest, Fonz PR, you know what I mean? Everybody down there that made this experience like really cool, because I think like not even just press or film fans or whatever. I think this it's just everyone has just a great time, and then like and you can see that in like recaps between like each film that they're getting ready to
Yeah.
show. They show like what's his name? Seth Rogen like him talking
Mhm.
there and like his experience and his time. They have pictures up and stuff of when people came. So I just think overall, you know, what I mean, it's just like it's just a film lover's dream.
Yeah,
So if you have the opportunity ever to check this event out, definitely take advantage of it because you won't regret it, you know. So
yeah, for sure. Well, Brandon, thank you for filling us in on your time in Austin. That sounds like it was an amazing time. And yeah,
yeah.
definitely, watching, you know, from a distance, but watching all like
Hmm.
the reels of everybody, getting your feedback about things.
Yeah.
I was kind of living vicariously through you and through all the people that we followed that were there. It looked like such a blast. So, you know,
Hmm.
definitely, definitely one that's doing it right. I mean, I would say probably
Yeah.
the most covered film festival that we follow, you
Yeah.
know, as far as like the experiences and what people share. Cause I mean, what was the one that happened right before in London? What's that one?
Was
Um,
that Fear Fest or something like that? No. No.
something
Fright
like
Fest.
Fright Fest.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about all the releases. We were getting a ton
Hmm.
of publication about that, but like I didn't really see anyone's experiences there as much as I saw at Fantastic Fest. So it definitely looked like people were having a great time and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, it's cool. It just, you know what it reminds you of? It's like you know, back in the day when we would always in rap and like R&B, we would always just get so many features from so many different camps. Like you had the Rough Riders, you had you know, Jay-Z, you had all different camps, Wu-Tang, and everybody collaborating
yeah,
together, working together. That's what this was like because you had Fangoria and Shutter
right.
and like so many other outlets working together and making this work. And so it was just like, damn, man, like this is special. And then I actually ran into Zimmerman,
Yeah, Sam Zimmerman.
Sam
Zimmerman.
Zimmerman, and I was just like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And so I was like, "Oh, you know, introduce myself." I was like, "Oh, he was on the podcast." And he was, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." I was like, "Just congratulations for everything you're doing with this horror community and Shutter and stuff like that." He goes, "Oh, man, I really appreciate it." I'm like, "Oh, man, it's definitely where we all need it to be right now." So,
Think about this. Maybe like a year ago,
hmm,
maybe a little more. We were actually a little concerned about the direction of Shutter
yeah,
and where it was going to go.
hmm,
There were some changes being made, some people no longer affiliated with it, to the point where we were like, I don't know if Shutter's going to be around soon.
mm,
And now it's like, wow, Shutter kind of just took over.
yeah,
And they, if anything, like inflated times 20 from what they were a year ago.
yeah,
They're in the theaters, they're in festivals like this,
hmm,
they're hosting their own cocktail parties and things like that. It's like, yeah, I think there's nothing to worry about. I mean,
yeah,
unfortunate that some people, weren't able to stick around with them, but
hmm,
the brand itself has definitely blown up. So that's crazy.
yep. All right.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We will see you. I always say we'll see you next week, but we've been releasing like 2 episodes a week. So we'll just see you on the next episode. Have a good one, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Take it easy.
Takes a lot of love for a person to do this.